What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Short-Sided Golf Show, the daily golf show taking on topics such as betting, tournament recaps, and everything else going on in the golf world. Wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, PGATourJerseys.com. If you've seen our past videos, you know exactly what they do. They make PGA Tour player jerseys, shirt jerseys that you can wear if you're watching the round at the bar. With your friends, with your buddies, support your favorite player. We do it all the time. We have some jerseys. I know I have a Koepka jersey. I have a Rahm jersey. I have everything in the arsenal to support my favorite player when they're in the lead or coming down the stretch. So definitely support them. They support us. So we really appreciate it if you check them out at pgatourjerseys.com. Now let's get into it. Today we are covering a tournament recap, a big tournament recap. That's the U.S. Open. Just happened this past week at Winged Foot. Bryson DeChambeau came away with the trophy. We have our takes on the course, the winner, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's go. All right, Shills. U.S. Open, Winged Foot in the books. DeChambeau kind of running away with it. The big golfer just overpowering Winged Foot, things that we didn't think could actually happen. And it did. He first major championship. He's on the board. What do you think?
It was inevitable. It was going to happen at some point. I'll be the first to admit I didn't think he was going to do it at Winged Foot. Just looking at everything about the course, the Gilhan's redesign, the long rough, everything. It's just like, all right, in my mind, precision guy. Like we saw on Sunday, Zach Johnson kind of came out of the woodwork and like scored himself a T10 or T5, wherever he finished up. Like that's the mold of player that I thought was going to win. And like we talked about last week, the stark contrast between like how Rory planned on playing the course and how Bryson planned on playing the course. Like, let's see which works out. I would have put my money on Rory style playing, hitting less than driver. But we saw on Saturday when Wolf and Bryson and were going at it, no one hit fairways. They were chopping out of the rough with 8 irons that were flying 215 yards, running up to the hole, and they made their putts. It was really cool to see. It was different to see. I think there's definitely some technology things that play with it, just about how the ball spins and stuff like that now. But it was bound to happen. I wish he waited till November to win his first major for certain monetary reasons, but I can't say I'm not happy for the guy.
Little ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think he it was inevitable. I thought it was going to be in November at that course, at least. Maybe not this November, but maybe in April, because I thought Augusta is just something that is kind of a bomber's paradise. But yeah, I think like you said, everyone was kind of hacking out. No one was, even the straight hitters were still hitting it into the rough, and that just beyond the first cup was so penal. Some of the worst lies of the week were guys, you would see it bounce in the fairway a few times, hop over the first cut and right into that second cut. And those were where people couldn't play from. So it really didn't. The fairways were so tough to hit. It kind of evened out the playing field a little bit because nobody could hit them.
No one could hit him. No one was hitting him.
Who put 40 pounds on, swings it, with 200 mile per hour ball speed. That's going to be the guy that gets it out of that stuff. So I think they kind of pulled it over on themselves because they tried to, I think, limit the distance and limit the distance factor. And I think they just made it almost too tough where distance, played a role again because it was just everyone was missing the fairway.
Right. It was basically Popeye won. Popeye was able to hack it out better than anyone else, and great. But I mean, the distance argument is definitely something that's on the table. I thought the one of the most impressive things about Bryson this week was his chipping and putting. Like he got up and down from everywhere, and even when he wasn't, in trouble somewhere, like we talked about last week, he was money inside 100 yards. Anytime he had a punch it on from somewhere, or he was fairway left and then chipped it out to 100 yards, he was getting up and down from 100 every single time. His putting was phenomenal on Saturday and even better on Sunday. Like when he drained the eagle putt on 9 on Sunday, I was like, that even with Wolf hitting his eagle putt as well, that was kind of the nail in the coffin with 9 to go. I didn't think there was anything else anyone was going to do unless Xander kept the momentum going. But then, he made 5 bogeys in a row, and that was good night, Xander.
Yeah, I was hoping he would make a run. I was thinking when he got
Him
to
and
even,
Louis,
I think at
him
one
and
point.
Louis, him and Louis
Yeah.
like flirted around even as they made the turn. They had the par five to kind of
And
deal with.
DeChambeau he got to 3 under, I think through 8. He was three
Right.
under, and then he eagled 9, and that just like almost put it away.
Yeah.
That's when you really
That was
felt
it.
like, okay, that's
Yeah.
I don't know if Wolf has the firepower, and that's the problem with DeChambeau is he's not just a big brute he thinks his way around a golf course. So like he's not making dumb mistakes. He's missing in the right spots. His putting and chipping, he knows what he can and can't do, and he's great at reading greens, all that kind of stuff. Where yeah, he hits the ball a mile, but also you're not going to outthink that guy either. So he's kind of the best of both worlds, especially on a course like this when it really is going to take a mental toll on you.
Yeah. I would also like to say like Matthew Wolf is. I mean, obviously he's been great since he made his way onto tour. He's won already at the 3M last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a great PGA championship. Like he literally should have won the PGA championship. He just could not putt inside 5 feet, which was infuriating. But on Sunday on the back nine, especially like Wolf's quirky swing, like he pummels the ball. It was great, but like I almost had the thought to myself is like that swing's like a lot of hands and a lot of timing and just like a lot of flip to it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said to myself before he started to fall apart, I wonder if it holds up. And then like every drive that he hit that he blew right, he just kind of would look at his caddy and was like, What was that? I can't believe it." And was like, "Well, it's something at the U.S. Open, and you have like the most timed swing in the world. Like, what do you think's going to happen?" And
Right.
that was kind of telling for me, like under insane conditions where you can't, we have to be precise. It was interesting to see like how his swing kind of fell apart just a little bit.
Right, because I always like the quote. I think it was Harvey Penick that in his teaching book, he always said, "Watch out for a player with a bad grip and a bad swing, because if they made it to where you are in a tournament or at whatever level you're playing at, it's like they've grooved it. So yeah, if you have a beautiful swing, it's like you can get by without it. But like if you have an ugly grip and an ugly swing, like it needs to be really good for it to get you to down the stretch. But you're right, it definitely requires a lot of timing. Like there's no doubt that other than Bryson's swing, which is the one plane, just single length clubs back and through, like Wolf's swing requires a ton of timing. Where if it's off a little bit, which the place it's going to be off a little bit is back nine in a major. So,
Right.
and he held up okay, but I think like you said, there were just a few stray shots where he looked at his caddy like, what was that? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, your timing's off. You're not in the same body you were on Thursday and Friday. Everything's a little different.
Right. And he was chatting everyone up. He was trying to keep the vibe light. But like once they made that turn and he hit that eagle putt, and then I think he thought, I was like, all right, I'm gonna put my foot down. I'm gonna do it. And on the par three, is the par three? Par three was the 11th.
Tenth.
Par 3 10th. Yeah. Par 3 10th. He got that terrible lie in the bunker and he made that bogey there where he lipped out the par putt. And then I think from there, he's like, okay, I need to press, and just got super quick, started pushing everything right. And everything kind of imploded from there.
Yeah, and you have to think playing with a guy like Bryson when he has the lead, hitting it as far as he does, where Wolf is probably normally one of the longest hitters that he plays with. It's got to be pretty intimidating when you're trying to press and this guy's just hitting it 30 yards past you.
But Wolf was
Um,
out driving him on a ton of holes in the front nine.
yeah, that's actually looking at driving distance. Wolf is, I believe I was just looking. I think Wolf's, yeah, he was second on the week. Bryson was seventh.
There
So
were so
Wolf
many times.
actually, yeah.
There were so
Hmm.
many times on Saturday and Sunday where Bryson would hit a drive, and everyone would go, "Oh my god, that was
Oh, yeah.
insane!" And then Wolf just smacks one 20, 30 yards past him.
Damn. Yeah, that's so. I guess
I
with
guess you're
Bryson, he's
wrong.
not.
Guess
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
wrong.
I'm dead wrong. I was watching too much of the Bills game, I guess.
Oh
No,
Jesus!
no, but I think, yeah. I mean, I think I could see that pressing a little too much, and when you're playing Bryson, just coming at you like waves on a beach, where it's just, I don't know,
He's
you're
not going to
not
make a
going to
mistake.
outlast that guy,
Yeah.
right?
What'd you think
And
of the
that's
setup?
the most impressive thing. I love the setup. I thought it was
Yeah.
great. I think I know we were texting a little bit. I know I said I liked kind of the setup on Thursday, which you guys ripped me for because you guys like the full on chaos. But I kind of liked Thursday. It was just a nice little setup where they didn't allow Zach Johnson lose the golf course too early, but just kind of throwing body punches on Thursday. It was still playing really hard. Just guys went a little too low, I guess, and then it toughened up throughout the weekend. So I think it held up really well.
I thought Thursday was stupid. It was just
I knew
dumb.
you were gonna say it. I know. I liked it. I think for me, I said that to you guys, and maybe U.S. Open could be different, so I could see how that whatever. But I like when guys can still make a few birdies. I thought 9 was the worst hole of the week, which is I think again where we disagree because you guys love 9. Where for me, I thought 9 was just it was almost too easy of a birdie. It was just to lower scores a little. Everything was playing so tough. Then you get to 9, and it's like all right, eagle or birdie, move on to 10, like whatever. That hole's easy, which I didn't like that. Like, if you're gonna make it hard, make every hole freaking a bear and make it 6 over. Like, don't give them that let up. But I don't know. I do agree. A 65 on a U.S. Open course, just that number of seeing someone shoot 65, and it's the lowest course in the U.S. Open at Winged Foot, or lowest score at Winged Foot in a U.S. Open. It's like that's just kind of an ugly stat to have. I think it kind of scars the 2020 Open a little bit, but I thought it was good golf on Thursday. It was fun to watch. Guys making birdies. They could get around a little bit easier.
I was in like panic mode on Thursday. I was expecting like what we saw on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and like I texted you as soon as it happened. Our guy Terrell Hatton was 2 under through two,
Oh my
and I'm like, oh
god.
my god, like he's gonna blow everyone out of the water. And then like everyone was 2 under through two. Roy Sabatini made 7 fucking birdies on Thursday.
Right.
Um,
Whoever
he,
placed that pin on one on Thursday was smoking something. That pin was the easy. I think
they
I
need to
could have
give
made it
their
for them.
head a shake.
Right. Because it was literally like guys would hit shots and be like, oh, that's way left. And it's like, up, catches that slope. And then they showed another view of that green. And it was just literally two, whatever you want to call it, two ridges and the pin right in the middle where it's like, if you hit it,
Everything funneled.
yeah, if you hit it within
Everything
15
funneled.
feet either direction, it's just going to funnle right to the hole. Even Tiger hit it close, which is, if Tiger's hitting it close on a hole, you
And it must
just
be
give up.
real easy.
Yeah.
Here,
That guy
here's
can't get it
here's my
close
thing
from
with the
anywhere.
setup. Thursday is fine if every day it got progressively harder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not fine, but it's fine if Thursday was like if I'm grading difficulty from 0 to 10, if Thursday was a 7, then Friday should be an 8, Saturday should be a 9, and then Sunday should be a 10. Hold on for dear life, even par's going to win this, right?
Right.
Um
That would be perfect.
Right. That's fine. I would prefer if it was teetering between 8.5 and 12 the whole week, but like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna ask for what I can't get. But the problem with my biggest problem with this week was Thursday was set up as an 8, or I would say Thursday was set up as maybe like a 7. Let's call it. Thursday
Right.
was set up as
Yeah,
a
that'd be
7.
easy.
Friday was a 9. Then Saturday was an 8, and then Sunday was a 10. Right? It didn't get progressively harder as the week went on. It went from
Right.
like moderately hard to very difficult to somewhat hard to really difficult. I'd rather like
Mm-hmm.
it either get progressively harder throughout the week so you can kind of like flush out the people that are just luck boxing 40-foot putts and getting up and down from everywhere, till you have like a final group of like 6 dudes that have just played exceptionally well all week, and then one guy wins, or just make it balls to the wall the entire time, kind of like Oakmont was. I mean, Oakmont, in my opinion, in my memory, is the best conditioned, set up, progression of difficulty U.S. Open we've had. That was hold on
Right.
for dear life the entire 4 days.
Yeah, they
Um,
never got to a point where people were bitching saying it's not fair or they lost the golf course. It was just insanely hard all the way through because of the exact reasons why Winged Foot should be tough. It's not really it is long, the rough is deep, but it's hard because of the greens. Like when they show those around the greens and 18 that false front is insane. That's why it's hard. It's not hard because of the distance and all that stuff. It's hard because you're hitting a 6 iron where if any one of us was hitting a 56-degree wedge, we would make six. And it's like these guys are
Yeah.
hitting 6 irons from the rough into these greens that like, and that's why Oakmont's tough too. These green complexes are like, yeah, good luck, dude. Like greens are, if they're fast and the rough's deep, you can't stop balls on these greens, and that's what Winged Foot should have been.
And
And
you
yeah,
could talk me into saying that some place like Erin Hills or a place like Chambers Bay, like it's hard to do that because
right.
number one, you really don't have too much experience from the USGA standpoint in working with those complexes, working with those greens, getting the grass to the point that you need to. I get that this thing's
Mhm.
planned out, 24, 36 months in advance in some aspects like Pinehurst number 2, 27 years in advance. But
Right.
like I
Yeah.
get like it's kind of a foreign object and you're kind of feeling it out as you go over like a 2-year process. But
Hmm.
Oakmont turned out great because and look like the places that we view as the best US Opens, the hardest US Opens are these super classic, been around forever, been tested multiple times tracks. Like
Right.
when the USGA gets their hands on Oakmont, they know exactly what they're doing from
Yeah.
4 years out. Like every droplet of water is accounted for. The same thing with Winged Foot, and I get it went through a little bit of a restoration. And Gil Hans was on Nulling Up today, and he was like, yeah, like the only green that was like kind of tricky with water was the first green on Thursday, but after that we figured it out. So like I get there was like some variables there, but not a ton
Yeah.
really
Not enough where
changed.
you should be
Like
able to.
you have a track record and a history, and almost like a blueprint to get the place to where you need to be over 80 years. Like you should be able to do that. Like there's really no reason that you shouldn't.
Right. And I think, I'm not a greenskeeper, but I think this would be
What?
the, well, I did take a turf grass class. I believe I got a B. I don't know, up my GPA from 2.9 to 2.92. But
Sick.
no, but I think you could make an argument at a place like Shinnecock where like they don't want to push it because it's June, it's hot, it's 90 degrees. But you would think here it's 64 degrees. You're not going to lose
It
that
was
golf course.
perfect.
Like it's perfect weather for
We literally,
where, yeah, you can
before we
push it.
started recording, we literally just had the conversation about all the golf courses that we've been playing are in awesome shape because once the
Right.
temperature drops and it gets to this level, the supers can do whatever the hell they want. And
Right.
that's what they had. It was perfect.
Yeah, and it's the same way. I remember I used to ask the superintendent at the place I used to play. Like it'd be in midsummer. I'm like, can't you get these greens like super fast? It was that like tough guy when I was like 16 years old. Like I want these rolling at like 13, and he's like, you do realize that in the summer, like I could get them there, and then the next day they would be gone
They're
for the next
dead.
6 years. Like, yeah, completely dead. And it's like, but at Wingfoot at this time of year, you can push it. So it's like maybe this was the one open where I could see now that I think of it, it's like with the opening round, I kind of liked how they were just seeing how it played out and they, threw some body punches, whatever here and there. And it was a little easy. So then they toughened it up. But this is the one year that you don't really have to throw body punches because we're not going to lose the course. It is what it is. It's 64 degrees. It's perfect weather. We're not expecting any rain, any storms, any of that crap. So it's like, yeah, let's tip this thing out and see how low we can take it. I don't know. I think this would be
See
the
what
year. Yeah.
happens. It's freaking September. If everything does die and go to shit, guess what? The rich fucks that are playing there are only got like 2 more weeks of golf left, right? They're
Right.
gonna go hibernate and then they'll be back in March and everything will be fine, right?
Right. They probably punched them today.
Yeah,
Punch the greens
exactly.
Monday.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
Right.
Who cares? It was the perfect opportunity to just like throw it to the wind and see what happens.
Right. Everyone's so afraid, and I think that is one thing with these players. I always hate them complaining because I'm always under the impression of everyone's playing the same golf course. So like when these players come out and the only time I could almost see it would be like at Chambers Bay where they were saying that it's so inconsistent. Not that it's so hard, it's just inconsistent. So it's like the best player's not going to win. It's just based on like luck. If you get the rolls, even there, that's even pushing it. But I could almost see what they were saying, but they're so afraid of these players coming out and saying they lost the golf course. This golf course is too hard. Phil in '06 saying like players are going to get hurt with this rough. Like these players bitch and complain so much. So at the U.S. Open price, he's at 5 under is like, great. No one's complaining. Like this is perfect. when everyone else is like, no, like give us what we have one tournament a year. It's the People's Open. Like give it to us. Like we want 7 over. We want 6 over. One time. Come on.
Yep. I don't want to see, you know, we see 21 over at the Safeway every other week.
Right.
Just 1 week out of the year. Let's kind of, you're okay 1 week out of the year having a freaking block party around the 16th green. Like, why can't 1 week out of the year? Like, it's the total opposite. And the pros are just bitching and crying.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's what they should say. I think the US Open should go full bad boy and just say, look, if you like it, then like don't play. Like this is how we're gonna set it up. If you don't like it, like we're not gonna kowtow to your little demands and oh, you're making us look stupid and all that stuff. You're a professional golfer. You get paid a lot of money for this to be out there. Go play the course we have set up in front of you. And
Well,
if you don't want
they
to,
are
then
independent contractors, technically.
the USGA or the
No,
players. Yeah.
players. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So that's the thing that gets me too. Yeah, they're not, it's not like they're not a player union, right? Like it's
No.
not like the NFLPA. It's
Yeah,
they're all
they're all
independent.
independent contractors.
Yeah. So I kind of wish, I feel like the USGA does kind of, I don't know, it says stuff. Yeah, we don't play for score. We don't worry about score, all that kind of stuff. It's like, why don't you come out and say, yeah, we want these guys to be 5 over at the end of the week. That's our goal. We're setting up a golf course to be really hard. Done.
Yep.
If you don't like it, don't play. Bryson's going to win the next 5 anyway. Don't show up.
It should be 4 days of hang on for dear life.
Right.
Like that's what from the first tee shot. Like the only thing I wanted to see on Thursday morning was like by noon. There's one guy in red figures and he's at 1 under through 1 and he hasn't played anything else. But I think there were 21 guys under par after Thursday. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. No,
yeah,
unacceptable.
and I think my only hole I didn't like was 9. I thought 9. I thought 12 was a perfect par 5. That was such an awesome where it's like
I agree.
guys can kind of get to the green, but then if you hit the rough, like guys are having 160 yards into that hole, and it's like, and that creates a big difference. Like you had a few guys who were 20 yards from the green, and then a guy who's 150. Like that difference in hitting the fairway and not hitting the fairway makes a great golf hole. So like if 9 could have been that par 5, like 12 reincarnated on the front 9, I think that course would have been, because I don't know, 9 turned into the end of the week where it's like they get through 8, 8's tough, and then 9 it's just like, all right, birdie and eagle, like wake me up when he's on 10, and it's just like, all right, yeah, oh, he only made birdie, not great, whatever.
I think that's a perfect transition into our next topic about just technology a little bit.
Yep. Agreed.
How long is the 9th hole at Winged Foot?
Let's see. Let me check here. Check the old scoring tab. It's got to be.
Is that the 6? That's not the 633 yard. All right.
It is.
Actually, you know what? I have it right here.
Okay. 556.
556. So, like, I'm not saying that they should be getting on in 3, but a 556 par 5 in a U.S. Open, and Bryson's hitting driver pitching wedge.
Right.
Driver 9 iron. Driver 9 iron was one that sticks out in my head more than anything. That's stupid, man.
Yeah, you can't have that. And I think the other thing you can't have is guys were going for the green from the rough, and it's like that's a no-no. If you have a par 5 in a U.S. Open, it has to be.
That's what I was thinking
drive.
of. Wolf on Saturday went driver pitching wedge from the rough and got on in 2. If I'm remembering correctly,
wedge? Wow.
I'm almost positive it was driver pitching wedge, and he hit a wedge from like a $189, and out of the rough. And like that's another thing of just like Bryson's the one that's going to get all the shit for the technology stuff. Like the ball goes too far, yada, yada, yada. I mean, he's maximizing what he can with the rules, but think about, and Azinger said it on the telecast. He was like, if you're a kid right now in high school and college, like watch this, just swing as hard as you possibly can. Like Matt Wolf's what, $165 soaking wet, and he outdrove Bryson half the week.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
And he's probably 5'10", something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's tiny.
that's the problem. It's not
Yeah.
Bryson. I mean, Bryson
Right.
that is the publicized version, cooking bacon shirtless in his house, just drinking. I couldn't laugh hard enough about how many times they showed him drinking protein shakes going down the back nine. It's like, dude,
I know.
you're up 4 in a U.S. Open on 15. You have 4 holes left, and you're still chugging these shakes. Like, what the fuck, man?
It's
Like,
ridiculous. He's got to be sponsored by that Oregon. I even saw in the Barstool Pizza review, he had it sitting next to the pizza. It's like, how
oh
many of
yeah,
these things does he drink?
On his Instagram story, he had a list covering the page of all his sponsors. You could barely see Bryson holding the trophy behind all the sponsors.
Oh my
The
God.
funniest one's Bentley though. Like if there's a
Bentley,
guy that would be sponsored by Bentley, that's it. Like most guys
it's
have their
Bryson.
Mercedes or their BMW sponsorships or whatever, and they just show up in a courtesy car. Like, but you really never know who they are unless you see them on the shirt. Like Bryson has the bougiest, obnoxious dickhead brand behind him
Yeah.
in Bentley. Like, of course you would be.
Gaudiest brand, this
Yeah,
big ass
exactly.
Bentley. All right, Shilzy, I think that's pretty much it for the tournament recap. I think we can all agree that Winged Foot was a great watch. They got it maybe a little wrong on Thursday, but cleaned it up and made it a tough test for Friday through Sunday. Bryson, though, kind of a surprise. He definitely finished it out and is a great champion, one of probably many more. So, yeah, I think that's it. Guys, definitely comment down what you thought of the tournament, if you thought that Winged Foot played out how you expected it, what you think about Bryson winning his first and maybe first of many majors. And yeah, check us out for daily episodes. We're going to be releasing them this week. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Peace.